Funny place we're in, you know? Funny how it takes away your memory. So you don't know who you are, or where you are, or what's going on. And no one you know knows either. So that just becomes the accepted norm. It's odd. Funny how we get caught in these nooks and crannies, and whatever it is that we pay attention to, we find more and more and more and more of it. It's showing you what you're paying attention to. And yet there's a myriad of traps and thickness and layers, all amongst the limitless possibility of what life could become if only you would focus enough and figure out how to do it. But for those that see there's a little bit more than just following the rules of life, and maybe there's something unfathomably profound occurring in life everywhere, or just in all everywhere, that can also become a gift of awareness to an individual, to a man or woman here. That is the greatest gift, really, but that can be a trap in itself as well. What is it that we're here to do? It seems to me that nearly every answer to that question becomes tied to fighting something in a very subtle form. Sorry, the cigar's a little dry. And because this place is a reality of duality that serves purpose and gives us a rope to grab onto beyond the rope we're already holding, which is pulling us downstream. So you have to find your focus on something to be able to fight it, or else you're fighting everything and fighting yourself. But if you find that focus and you fight it, eventually you will realize it was just you were fighting the whole time. And this place is reflecting your energy at different stages. What if it's that you're here just to figure out how you work? And everything is telling that to you. And that's hard to see sometimes, or hard to agree with when shit outside seems shitty. And there's layers of manifestation teachings that say everything is you pushed out. And then there's layers of beating the system and lawful transmutation of using the system against itself, or declaring independence and nationality free of the papal bulls, usurping the Magna Carta. I lose sight. I could be wrong, but it seems like anybody who doesn't isn't looking very far. Anybody who thinks they got it all figured out is playing small. But what if you can start to be you, and that there's this flow of life, that you are not playing the game of life, but life is playing the game of you? And what if there's this flow of life that has the highest possible order of potential for you? Not that it's written and you can't be whatever you choose. What if there's something in you that could make the flow of life so incredibly joyful and blessed, as not for you, but as it flows through you? And in that manner, you are serving divinity, you are serving life itself. You are literally, in a very easy manner, making this existence of this place better and grander, more beautiful. With the gift of your energy here, you're serving your body, which is the only thing you really ever own, and it's a lease. You are doing the best possible job you could without stressing. What if it is that easy? What if everyone we've ever met always spends all of their energy fighting against that? Just that. Doesn't mean be a hobo. Doesn't mean give everything up. Doesn't mean like screw the man. It means stop listening to anything but your heart. And the better you get at that, the greater the the possibility that maybe one day someone else will learn from you to stop listening to anything but their heart. And it's a process to get back to the heart. But shit, haven't you tried a bunch of other stuff? And it seems like it all works. Everything works. Everything is a functional flow back from your divine attention and reflection back to you from this place. So all the things, all the working out, which I support, all the morning routines, which I support, all the biohacking, which teach their own. Some of it probably is good, some of it's a little anal or trial and error. Try to keep the smoke off the hair. All the diets, all the entrepreneurial efforts, all the religious or spiritual context, all the learning, all the overlearning, all the anxiety, all the dealing with stress. Um, Basically, the only thing I support blindly in every scenario is meditation, but even that is extremely nuanced and must be proper for the individual in the individual time, or man and woman. Individual's a corporation. This may sound a little odd. I'm a guy in a teal shirt and a funny hat, smoking a cigar with a baby cat in his lap. Hey, girl. But earlier today, this baby cat had a twin sister. And see right there, that pool. This baby cat, her name is Neptune. And her sister's name is Venus. And earlier today, Venus drowned in that pool. I was sitting right here and I didn't see it. So we get caught up in all these self-help, moving forward, got things figured out, working on my job, my occupation, and this is what I have to do to survive in society. And, all these things are kind of based in good principles, but they're filling when it really comes down to the one question of life, they're filling the fluff. There's a line, and it's a small sliver on this side, and it's just everything in life on this side. And everything is everything else. And this small sliver on this side is, did I do what I came here to do? And it's just yeah, I dedicate myself to it. Or I didn't get it done. It's not a judgment. It's not a harshness. It's not pointing fingers at yourself or anyone else. But it is that clear. And I don't take the spirit of Venus leaving her body lightly, but I also didn't cry about it. Because by the time I found her, which was only a few minutes, she was already free of her body. And so I blessed her, sent her on her way. But we are here for just a little bit. And everything that most of us comprehend and know is a rope inside of us that we're holding on to unconsciously. And that rope is tied to thousands of other ropes that have come from nearly the same source. And as we go through our days and our weeks and our hours and our seconds, they're not ours. They're not ours. Neptune, come here, girl. They are actually what's on the other side of those ropes that we don't see, that our unconscious is holding on to tightly. And they're pulling us and bending us, and they got us all turned and twisted and out of shape inside. And we don't know, we're just used to it. And one of the remarkably odd things about all creatures here, including humans, human beings, or whatever description we want to give this species that we are embodied as, animals, plants, if you take a good look, everything can get used to anything. How close to your true self are you? I'm just tired of pretending. Fucking been tired. We go about our movements of energy, and life flows through us. We call that our lives. But life is already flowing here, and we have the opportunity to embody this. What do we do with it? We grab onto a thing called school, we grab onto a thing called friends, we grab onto a thing called responsibility, and we learn the ropes. And whatever religion or whatever finger pointing at others mixed with the idea of the personification of the energy of creation, of God. And we tell ourselves stories based on the stories that we are told to agree upon. Somebody bigger than us tells us, and somebody else bigger than us says, "Yeah, did you get that?" And then we're like, "Yeah, we got it. Certainly. I'm not a dummy." And then our world begins to bend around that thing because that seems to be important in this place, this go around. And these ropes that we've learned, we don't let go of. And we get really, really good at grabbing more and more ropes, tying them around our pinkies, tying them around our necks, just tying them around. We are so phenomenally well adapted to everything. This is a psychotic environment that we are in, and we are so incredible that we have adapted ourselves to an entire existence of nonsense. Likely no one you know lives in almost any accordance with anything even associated with health and wealth and natural law. And that's not a judgment. Even those that are well acquainted with the ideas, the concepts, what are they really doing? How often are they unconscious? And how often is their unconscious just being pulled along behind the rope of the boat of the collective unconscious, taking them downstream? Even though they know they don't want to go there, that's where they go. Because it's too hard, it's too scary just to let go. Which is what the rites of passage are, forcing one to let go, be off by themselves. You're supposed to spend time in nature. Just think about it like this. How unbelievable would it be if you lived in the 1900s or the 1800s, which is not that long ago, or any time ever, and that there was a time in which everyone spent all their time in a building? And the only people who didn't spend all their times in buildings were people who were being paid for their job to work outside. That's not something to jump over. Think about that. It doesn't seem real. But because we live in a constantly morphing state of just awareness, and that we constantly forget that that's what's going on because we're always perceiving the external to give some type of validation for what's going on within us. We don't start and look within ourselves first. Then external seems normal. We've gotten used to it. Everyone around us has gotten used to it, and that's what tells us it's okay to be used to it. Because we're connected on a beehive network. Our bodies, our neural network is literally in connection with not just everyone around us, but with the entirety of the collective unconscious. So that frequency, or those frequencies that are most fluent to the proliferation of the predictability of the collective unconscious, is what is propelled through the collective unconscious, which means that is the storyline that is everyone around you is being adapted to, which is exactly how people can become so polarized so quickly because it's not their fucking idea. I don't care what anyone thinks about anything. You love or hate anything. A perception of history, a perception of a politician, of medicine or money or finances or anything, a brand. None of that fucking shit is your idea. None of it. You just picked up one of two or three options. You're barely living your own life. It's not picking on anybody. It's a reflection. Speaking parts of this is I'm speaking to myself. The essence is divine, limitless spirit energy. And the way back to there is mostly through meditation, but it's just merely starting with the heart. And yet, the collective unconscious is not good or bad, it's not evil. It's just pulling what it has been imprinted with. And through that magnetic swing, that dynamo effect, the way we function, we're propelling that, pulling it in, shooting it back out, and then what gets swooped back up is what we propel back out, which is the same thing that was imprinted in the first place. So Donald Trump is to be someone that's of great polarity in the early uh, 21st century. We'll start getting some weird, odd upticks. And all of a sudden, it'll start scaling and scaling and scaling. It's imprinting into the collective unconscious. And the more it's imprinted into the collective unconscious, the more it's propelled out through our projection energy. And all this is happening all the time while we're holding on to all these ropes inside. And we're so bent out of shape by all these ropes that we don't even know they're there. And if someone points them out to us, we think, because the collective unconscious in this time between times functions on a safety net of fear. Fear actually equals safety. And fear is just the duality of love. It's not good or bad. We are holding on to these ropes unconsciously. And if someone points them out to us, when we look at them, it's so scary to look at them because we want to protect our fear, because fear is a safety net. And some of it is local mind and ego, but it's further than that. That we, in our lower unconscious, completely unaware to ourselves, will consciously say and think that those things we're holding on to are protecting us, so we're protecting them. If you can ever find the strength to just open your hand and let it slide and let it let go, let that rope slide through your hand. Just this, don't do the biggest one, the smallest one ever, just the smallest thing. And just open your hand and just watch it. Say, this is leaving my life forever if I choose, and I'm allowing it to be, and I'm allowing it to go. And just watch it slowly get pulled away. If you do that enough times inside, it's the process of unfolding yourself. Forgiveness. If you do that enough times, you'll realize you thought that those ropes were holding you up, and that you were doing service to them, and that you were holding everyone else up who was holding onto the ropes too, and that you were all serving each other and living a wonderful existence in society together. But in reality, if you can get yourself to the place of letting go of all of them, you will begin to actually become yourself for once. And you're probably 20 times taller and 10 times wider and thousands of times stronger. And the only reason you felt small is because you're giving all your energy to protecting all these ropes, and these ropes were bundling you and twisting you up the whole time. And on the other side, that energy on the other side, it's actually feeding on the energy of you. And you thought you were feeding on the energy of it, and you were doing service to it because it was giving you power and holding you up. No. You're the thing giving it power. You're it. You are divine, limitless spirit energy. And you're giving the you to all these things that got you all twisted up. And it's unconscious and lower unconscious. It's like the roots of this and trunk of this great, great tree. They're all balled up in a pot. You need to give yourself a chance to grow. And you can't do that by keep forcing it and forcing it in the way that you're being told. You've tried that. This isn't lazy man shit. This is it's wisdom. You have tried it. It only works so far. And then at some point, if this makes any sense to you at all, then you know. And if it doesn't, it's okay. Sometimes we just need somebody else to sit with us and say it's okay not to be okay, so that we can address the fact that we're not okay. We don't have to lay down. We don't have to be in a Freudian environment talking about all the things that are wrong with us. We need to grow up and be men and women and let go. Get back to allowing ourselves to attempt to find the purpose that's just sitting inside us going, psst, yo, yo. But we don't listen to that. So we have all these repressed and suppressed things that are always trying to push out, like very unhealthy little roots coming out of a pot, trying to find a way. What happens when something's repressed and oppressed and suppressed like that? Disease happens. And then from disease, you get all these imbalances. You get bugs that come and start eating this tree, eating these plants. When a plant is super healthy, it's feeding the soil's feeding it. Enough plants and enough trees around actually promotes more rain. Shit works together. But when something is unhealthy, it can't sustain any type of attack. Actually buckles. When somebody's frazzled, including myself, and the smallest thing happens, it's dramatic. It's like a lot of people when they grow up in the hood, they're constantly in fear. So they're much quicker to produce violence to each other. If I didn't meditate yesterday and that scenario with the cat, I would be really upset about it. But I did. I'm going to make myself meditate later tonight. Because I know there's more. There's more going on than the first initial reaction of the body and the historical memories that we tell ourselves about why things have happened. So if you want to buy my course, it's $28.99. If you're the toughest fucking tough guy, uh, I'm happy to fight you. That's what you want. If you're the softest Old lady, I'm happy to sit with you. If you would like somebody to bounce some things off of, I'm happy to provide that Play-Doh ambiance. We uh, we are all just running from ourselves, and the scariest thing is to actually be yourself because it feels like you're gonna lose everything. And I'm not sure I'm really my full self right now, but I'm getting there. I'm done hiding. I'm done judging. If somebody needs help, I'll help them. Somebody doesn't, it's all good. I'm not gonna give them my energy. I'm not gonna focus on it. Not pointing fingers. I'm working on controlling my focus and applying my friction on my focus, and that starts with my heart. In a very nuanced and quiet manner, I kind of comprehend why things in life have gone a certain way. But to apply it to the actual daily existence is a whole nother thing. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you can see past how foolish some political stuff is, but then do you still go vote just because you feel like it's the right thing to do? But you're wise enough to comprehend that voting is supporting a system of enslavement and oppression towards others. But you're like, yeah, but I'm going to vote the good guy in. How how are we going to move forward? It's already happening, obviously. What if everybody's right? Nobody's really, I mean, some people are trained in manipulation and they're doing stupid shit on stupid levels to trick the masses, right? Or just to try to make some money for their business or whatever. But that's ridiculous. You know, or Saul Zitsky and Aldous Huxley, doesn't matter. Toss them out. Roy Cohn, Hollywood, doesn't matter. What if, in general, most men and women are pretty much right? They're saying it from the perspective that's so clear to them. Is that even possible? Like, can we comprehend that? Is it too much? What if it's just one story and then we're all holding on to different ropes of different forms of the different paintings and the different myths, telling the one story of the stars, or the one story of our spiritual growth, or the one story of this is what you got. Here's the 12 steps of life. What are you going to do with it? And then people just keep telling, what if all of life from 800 million years ago, I don't mean the planet or whatever this is, or I mean, however long this entities have been coming here in some type of form of embodiment. What if it's all been one story that has the essence of truth? And then it's just been a telephone game and everybody's running around acting like they got it because they got it from the source that they trust. And it just keeps going, and now nobody knows fucking anything. Now everybody thinks they know more than anybody because they think we figured it out. Who the fuck is we? Science or religion or whatever. Who cares? I like baseball, or LeBron James. What? Who are you? A lot of people can start thinking about some of these things and then they get caught in conspiracies. And that doesn't, again, most of it's true. Yeah, but a good way to look at it is the more you learn about sacred texts, the Bible or uh, Nagamani scriptures or whatever, the Vedas, the more you realize it's extremely layered, it's extremely wise, it's extremely manipulated, and it's all telling the same story. Too much? Does it hurt? Everybody thinks that they know. I should tell you something. When are you going to start being you? What forces are pulling on you? I don't mean good guys and bad guys. I don't mean there's spirit entities that are demonically, they got you. Everything is inside you. And that's not solipsism. It's not any ism. Your belief structure is allowing your life to be your life. It's allowing life to flow through you in the manner in which you are filtering it. Life is the river that you're in, and it's flowing, and you're going down it. The secret is you're in charge of carving out the future of that river. It's going to keep flowing. What would be the greatest possible scenario, the most incredible scenario for you to carve out beauty for this place and for the river itself? Do that and you will live a life of bliss. And in that you will find your purpose. And by doing that, you will naturally propel your gifts. You find your purpose, you honor your gifts, you follow your bliss. That's it. You gotta get out of your own way. To do that, you gotta let go of those ropes inside. You don't have to reprogram every bit of yourself. You don't have to fight the Rothschilds or anybody else. Fighting is tethering yourself unconsciously via a rope to something that you really don't probably want to be attached to. Not that there's anything wrong with those things. It's all just an offer. And that's one layer of certain sacred texts. That's to me the whole negotiable instruments and commerce and law. It's not about blowing up a whole system. I used to love the idea of doing away with everything, going and living in the woods. I'm still a live in the woods by myself guy, but that ain't it, pal. Nothing wrong with that or good about it. It's just that there's nothing necessarily good about it either. It's about doing what you're meant to do. Did I do what I came here to do? We get caught up in I want to make the biggest impact on society. Or I want to it's these things of like being validated by the external. I want to be inducted to the Hall of Fame or receive some award. Okay, that's fine, but after you get that, it's gonna be the same shit. I'm not so sure this is a new game. It's definitely time between times, but I think it's the same elliptical game that's always been played. Always. I think it's a funny game in this place. But I think it's always just running back to you. Come on. It's just you and you. But you're scared to really look at what can I carve out? What can I do to serve this river of life I'm flowing through? And how can I serve and give the greatest possible flow and create the greatest possible beauty? I turned that off. What's going on with this thing? Screens. It's not complicated. It's just addressing the 12,000 things inside that want us to feel like we're not worthy of taking a swing and doing it. And then the next step is a lot of the people who do it get caught up in the money side of it or the media side of it or the influence side of it or even the coaching side of it. This place is so tricky that whatever you focus on, you get more of, and whatever you fear, you feed. And you can be enlightened 1 second and then start looking at something else that got your attention. And all of a sudden, it's pulling you in, and you propel yourself in that direction. And you get more of that. You just create all these little nooks and crannies, little side pools, little tributaries. You get lost in them. Most people aren't even necessarily in the main river anymore. They're just in like little side lakes with a bunch of other people being towed behind a boat, thinking that's what life is, going in circles, doing the same thing all the time. What are you meant to do? Where are you going? Just biding your time, just riding it out? I mean, that's fine if that's what you want to do, but there's something for you to do. Everybody's different, but I damn sure can tell you the answer ain't doing nothing. And if you want to fight, fight. And get that out of your system. I fought a lot. I get it. But it's just a reflection of you fighting yourself. If you want to get weird, bang a bunch of people, you want to get drunk and hang out with a bunch of people because you're trying to find yourself and you don't want to look deep enough in yourself. You want to go off by yourself and have that introspection. Eventually, everybody's going to have their time in the forest. And in that time, it's going to be only you. And in that time in the forest, when it's only you, you're going to give up and go back to the way it was that you were trained to be and be a good little boy and girl and stay as a good little boy and girl. Or you're going to say, fuck it. I got to find my way. And the best way I found to do that is by connecting with nature. Because nature is closer to what this real nature, if you can find true nature, I mean, even just a tree in the middle of a neighborhood works. But if you can go into true nature where the water is moving and there's an old tree, or be around an animal, even a predator, or if you just can sit in the backyard with your dog, or you can sit here talking to a computer with a cat. Nature feeds you as you feed it. It seems odd. It seems like it's bigger than you, but it's watching you. And most pay very, very little attention to nature. Some people, the most nature they pay attention to is when they're driving on the highway and they just see all the trees. They just look at all the trees. Even when you're doing that, you can feel it's a little different. You are supposed to spend time in nature. You are supposed to look at the stars. You are supposed to be aware of the sun and the moon and not hide from them all the time. That's not up for debate. If you attempt to do those things, you will be better. Anything that's bothering you will settle. Every parent should make that a priority for their kids. Beyond school, beyond private schooling, beyond learning how trust works so that they can set their lineage up the way that the Rockefellers did in the 1800s. Like, you're 200 years behind, man. Yeah, you might be a little bit ahead of your peers, but it's not like you're on the cutting edge. You just fucking figured out about this shit. So, what has everyone always done and where has all wisdom come from? Not here. not here, here. And this thing works best when it's in tune with nature. Period. Let's see. I feel like throwing out some random stuff. Um, Money's not what basically anybody thinks it is. If you want to learn how money really works, all you need to do is comprehend negotiable instruments. But that will kind of break your brain, or most people's brains. And if you work in banking and you think you know what negotiable instruments are, it's not the best place to start. Start with Federal Reserve Act, um, or the Bank of England. Bank of England's a great place to start, actually. Personally, I suggest going to the National Credit Union Association and looking at the definitions for the central lending facility. I've never heard anybody say that before, but I've read through that. Negotiable instruments, collateral, bills of exchange, promissory notes. Real estate, property, title, situs. Write those things down, learn them. Start with the NCUA, how to apply to the COF. Read the Federal Reserve Act, read the update, which came out like within the last decade. Social Security Act, Emergency Banking Act, the UCC, Uniform Commercial Code. If you can comprehend that all commerce is based on the exchange of papers which are signed, then you're on the way. It's not that complicated at all. It's simple. You just have to learn it slowly and deliberately, and then apply it without overthinking. We tend to stay in our lanes and learn, but when it comes to our job, be very diligent in living within a ceiling. That's that's the type of mentality that keeps you in out of your heart, and also in a house divided. House divided cannot stand. So house divided cannot stand really means if you're the two parts of you, the female, the male, the uh, right brain, left brain, the entirety of your existence and your hormonal and energetic bodies not coming into one and walking in the middle path, which is exemplified through the projection of your energy through the pineal gland. If you don't do that, then your house is divided and you're weakened, which is almost everyone. But also, if you're focusing on two things that are contradictory, then they fight against each other. Like if a man and woman are not married in unity and focused on one thing, if they're not going like this towards one goal, then they're going to fight each other because they have to pull each other along and yank on each other. And it's just an odd power dynamic that will never work. Brother and sister, same thing, but it's all within ourselves. It's how we dictate ourselves, how we master ourselves. If we are serving what we think God is and we're serving what we think country is, and those aren't in alignment, our house is divided. So if we're serving an attempt to grow ourselves, and at the same time we're trying to stay small within our job, and we don't have a plan to limit that so that the next minute we get out of our job, we can grow ourselves, grow ourselves, grow ourselves, and then get ourselves in a place where we're not in that job anymore, what's going to happen is we're limiting both sides. We're not going to be our best in our job, in that place with a ceiling, that little box, and we're not going to be our best in trying to master ourselves. Neither one's going to work. So if you really, really want to learn money, negotiable instruments, legal tender, you need to dedicate yourself to it. If you really, really want to learn how to master yourself, in my opinion, the quickest way, and there's probably quite a few who can give you better advice than me, but the quickest way is to go into nature, connect with love here, forgive everything in a meditative state, and then forgive yourself, and then listen. Listen to your heart. It clears everything up. It gives you the opportunity to let go. It gives you the opportunity to get back to yourself, which is what everybody's chasing. Everybody wants to be something else. But what they really want is to not be caught in whatever type of thing has them bent inside that they can't put their finger on. Because they're so bent up, they don't know where to start. It's just getting back to being yourself. But you can't go back. Everything's sitting here waiting for you. You just have to be you. To do that, you have to stop feeding into what everybody expects you to be. And at some point, someday, just clear it all out and be you. Because if not, there is no death, merely opportunities before, but that last breath will come. And you will have that, and it won't be that scary. It won't be that big of a deal. Except for the shit, I didn't do what I came here to do. And then you're going to have to do it anyway. You're going to be connected with love. You're going to forgive everything immediately. You're going to forgive yourself. And you're going to be in your heart. But why wait? Just do it now. And not in an irresponsible way, but genuinely fuck your job or your company. I've always said this. I try not to be too rude about it, but even when it's my company, or entity or trust or whatever, it's these things, these corporate entities, corpses, right? These death certificates or whatever. The base principle is always and only influence or revenue. It can be nothing else. Always. And it's the second it does not have the opportunity to continue to acquire the either influence and or revenue that it seeks, that it requires, it ceases to exist. And what's left? The embodiment of this divine limitless spirit energy looking for another non-existent concept to jump and go and ask if it can serve. That company folded. Can I go look for another job? Maybe I'll start up a insurance company to replace the one that just folded. Not that there's anything good or bad about insurance. It's just a concept. It's not real. Doesn't matter. I don't care. We serve things that are fucking jokes. With most of our divine attention and almost all of our unconscious existence. We're thinking about it when we're sleeping. So we can get up and stress about being there on time to go serve the thing that's just pumping and funneling what's considered to be digital currency or money, whatever. But in reality, what it's doing is it's sucking so much energy out of your core ropes. That's how everything works. It functions on what you're paying attention to. What if you just sat for 2 weeks in the woods by yourself in an Airbnb if you don't want to be crazy about it, next to a lake, and you just sat there and didn't look at the clock, didn't look at the phone, didn't say, I'm going to figure everything out. This is it. No, you just sat there and you just did the dying. What if you just went there and you just died? You just connect with love, you forgive everything, you forgive yourself, and then you just sit and listen to your heart as if there's nothing left, and you do that over and over and over again. You don't do anything else. You drink a little bit, you eat a little bit, go to the bathroom a little bit, get in water, and you just do that over and over and over again, 3 times a day. It only take you like 30 minutes each time, so that's over 20 hours left every day to chill and do nothing. Just keep forgiving any information that flows by. Just keep forgiving it and just listen to nature. This isn't some hippie shit. What if you just did that? Why does that seem so far away? Why haven't you even done it yet? I tell you why. It's not because of me, it's not because of you. It's because the collective unconscious distracts you from that. Because it doesn't serve the collective unconscious. Can that not be more clear? It's exactly an alternative. It might be the only actual path to freedom. Freedom isn't found in staring at your screen and figuring out how to upend the system. Freedom lives in you. It's just sitting there going whenever you want. I can't play the game you're playing because you're putting your attention into enslavement. You want to marry me? I'm living inside you already. Come be free with me. I'm right here. I was born with you. You just stop paying attention to me. What you pay attention to grows. What's huge in your life? What are the biggest ropes? You are perfect, divine, limitless spirit. You are the energy of all. It can be no other way. Nobody's coming to save you. You don't need saving. You need to learn how this place works to the best of your ability without stressing about it. You need to listen to the Eightfold Path of the Taoists and Buddhist monks. Find the actual livelihood. Find the meditation. Find the training or the physical embodiment, the thing to take care of the body. Find the proper nutrition. But you don't have to do everything at once. The best thing to do is to start with just connecting with love in nature and forgive. Forgive everything because that's where you find freedom. Forgive yourself because that's where you find the ropes. And don't overanalyze it, just keep forgiving it. Just open your hand inside and just let it flow. And then listen to your heart. It's not a soft thing. It's like the hardest thing ever to do. But when you have nothing left and you have no choices left, and when you're you live in purgatory. Heaven is what you create through your attention. Hell is what you create through your attention. When you are in hell, the answer is forgiveness and watching what you pay attention to. When you are in heaven, the answer is forgiveness and watching what you pay attention to, because that is what will continue to grow. Suppose that seems like enough. Nothing is scary. It's just our emotions connected with the chemicals of our body, which connects to the nervous system of our brain and our spine, which reflects images in the local mind, which supersedes and goes around the magnetic force of our heart. And assists us in operating in a fight, flight, hide mechanism that basically always serves a smaller and smaller existence of staying in fear and just getting used to it. If you don't want to live in fear anymore, you can't be doing that shit. And if you've done it a lot, you're going to have to forgive yourself for it. For real. And you're going to have to forgive everything else, which means everybody else, and every event, and every memory. And you don't have to do 20 life recapitulations. You can if you want. Learn a lot. But not everybody is, there's no such thing as equal. It's never happened. Nothing will ever be equal. It's not supposed to be. No one is. No event is. Love and loyalty is all that matters. Everything's situational. Everything's always changing. Love is the creation energy of all. Excuse me. The singular one love. That which most call God. This place is a reality of duality. So here there's love and fear. And inside this love is the essence of the singular one love, which is inside everything, which is the everything. And inside fear is the essence of the singular one love. It can be no other way. The only thing that's impossible is for anything to be impossible. But we look at things through we look at things only the way we've been told to look at them. But that doesn't mean before you leave your body here that you're going to live in a 8D world. I mean, maybe you will. I don't know. But I wouldn't hold on to that shit. I would hold on to, in my heart, it's very clear that I have purpose, and that purpose is I can carve the future of the river, that I allow life to flow through me. And through the great, if Egypt, Kem, was the place that they say it was, I'm suspicious of all history, which is a story of mystery, but it doesn't matter. The whole thing's based on flood zones. Fertile soil, the black gold, Kem, the alchemist. You can create anything if you control where and how you carve the river of life that flows through you in the future. It's not about moving mountains. It's not about doing anything unbelievably miraculous. It's about doing the greatest possible thing that you're here to do. And it's not necessarily like a physical thing like writing a book. That's great, but that might be just be like something that gets you to a certain place of your own awareness. You got to take control over yourself. But to master yourself, from what I'm aware of, you must master subject, and then master subject, and then master subject. As you see the way in one thing, you see the way in all things. We get caught in finding some type of awareness. You're perfect. I am perfect. And then reacting and feeling like everything is hard. You are perfect, and this place is perfect. And it's tricky. It could be no other way. What would you do to make this place better? Say, like, no war. Then what? It's a non-stop machine of, it's a machine actually layered on top of magnificent nature, but it's a non-stop force of flow constantly. And and people tend to get so upset about the pieces of the flow instead of looking at how magnificent is it that we actually have the opportunity to create. And we get upset about these things and we're accidentally creating our own hell. And we get used to it because everybody else around us is living in hell. And they don't know it because they think hell is fire. Most everybody's right about what they see and what they think, but they're all looking at it from their own angle. None of them are you. You are here to be you and to impress the great. You're here to address and overcome your imprinting and to release pressure and benefit the flow of love through the imprint of who you actually are. And by doing that, it benefits the flow of life in this place. That's not the only reason you're here, but it's an impact here, which benefits this actual place, which benefits the flow of this time between times and the changing of the ages. There's more to it. But that's definitely part of it. And the more you focus on the fear stuff and the stress stuff and the work stuff, and the less you focus on you, I know it's easier said than done, but the more you're actually feeding into things that feel like they're entrapping you. You're not trapped. You're just in the process of mastering yourself. I think that's how it's supposed to be. If it wasn't tricky, it wouldn't be any fun. All right. I love you. Prima Voltus Interior.